to something. Yeah, we up to something.
And we out here. We on the road again. Swerve City Podcast on the road, doing what we do no matter what. If we can't get the guests in the podcast, we go to the guests in this lovely home, which we will say for this is the office.
Yeah, the office.
The office of Samoa Joe, the legend himself, Ring of Honor television champion, currently legend in this game, 20 years plus.
Yes,
it is an honor. It is a privilege to be here talking with you like this, rapping with my crew, my whole crew over here, Swerve City Podcast, Monteasy Jones right here. We got some news to put out there since the last episode. Okay. We just announced that the Swerve City Podcast will be on the Jericho Cruise in February.
Yes, Jericho Cruise, man.
Nice little party there.
It's going to be lovely. It's going to be awesome. I've never been on a cruise, me personally.
Really?
Yes. So this, of course, I'll be working.
First one's always fun. Yeah. Working cruise is a little rough, but yeah, I get it.
But it's going to be awesome. It's a great experience. Jericho Cruise has like some very legendary parties, very legendary like moments with like AEW performing on there. Mm-hmm. It's like a lot of people really found their characters, like the Britt Bakers, really came into their own on the Jericho Cruises. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we do something big. Maybe do some musical performances.
I like that.
I'm try to get it. I'm try to work my magic, a little bit. Jericho's been on the podcast. He know what it's like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What you got coming up?
First of all, man, thank you, Chris, for inviting us to come on the show, man, and come on the cruise. It means so much for us after all these years, and we 5 years in.
5 years. 5 years podcasting.
5 years.
5 years. Started on a beanbag.
On beanbags, man.
Beanbag with no couch in the living room on IG Live.
On IG Live.
It was not pretty.
And we what they say, we muscled through it, man. And we here, man. So
thank you to all 6 viewers that were watching at the time.
Yes.
Now we up to the thousands.
I was like, is that kill shot? I was
like who? What? Turn it off.
Like I said, 5 years, everybody had the same look on their face, like, where we been this time? And now they're all shocked about the time equity in that. Like damn, 5 years?
Yeah, a lot of sweat equity, but a lot of miles.
This it?
A lot of miles.
This it? We made it was to a cruise. We made it to a boat.
We're in the house of a legend. OG, a legend. And thank you, brother.
Oh, absolutely, man. Welcome. Glad y'all came by and showed up.
Oh, yeah. I think this is beautiful because we don't really see many interviews of you out there like that, especially like recently. No. I think you're very to yourself a little bit more. You protected.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's a personal thing, a personal choice, professional.
Well, I think it's I think privacy is a commodity now in the modern world, and I think.
It's very not valued as much.
Yeah. Well, I think we kind of give it away for free a little bit too easily and stuff. And I'm really big on this too. I wanted to give anybody who was in my family kind of the choice whether or not they wanted to be on social media, and not kind of just start it off right away and put them out there and put them on blast and stuff. I think that should be a choice, and I feel a lot of youth are being robbed of that choice inadvertently, and I'm trying not to do that with my loved ones, but we'll see.
That's true.
And plus too, and knowing from being around him, another great, that you guys get asked the same 17 questions all the time in your profession. So I'm pretty sure, you're going to turn a lot of that down. Like, okay, I don't want to talk about my favorite match for the 15th.
I think that's it, or hot takes, really. I mean, really,
Yeah.
Like, they can't wait to get you on there. So what do you think about this thing you don't really care about? No, I don't really care about it.
I don't. Come on, give me some spice. I'm trying to get somebody to plug. Oh, man, so... let's take it back to coming up from Huntington Beach, California. Mm-hmm. You from? Born and raised? Or?
Yeah, I mean for the most part. I mean for most of my life, kind of spent a few summers kind of back and forth in Hawaii. I had family out there and stuff, but for the most part, Huntington Beach. And I mean it was a cool spot to grow up. Especially in the time that I did. A lot of different, definitely kind of a melting pot town as far as where I lived, at least down on Slater Avenue and stuff, and. Slater Slums, what's up?
Hey.
But, it's it was cool in there's a lot of different music, a lot of local music scene was really, really hot. So you'd hear a lot of local bands kind of popping off too. It was kind of a mix of hip hop, a lot of punk, a lot of ska, a lot of reggae. So it was you got like a real like kind of wide, broad mix of sounds and stuff kind of meshing together. So I mean, it was pretty cool, at least in my case, kind of growing up around there.
Who were some inspirations like that you were looking up to at the time? Like not even just a wrestling standpoint, but like sports, music, movies, like all around.
I think like for us at that, so I was like Junior Seau was like
was
like the guy, like because I mean like US, especially for California, like USC guy came out, played for the Chargers, and like. I mean, just was the man, I mean, just was just so dominating, so smart on defense. Guy was everywhere, all over the field, and like I think like that was like the first big like he was like Bo Jackson to I know to a lot of Samoans kind of growing up. And
That's
stuff.
true.
Like,
I see
Junior
that.
Seau was that dude,
Yo, like that was like the era of the linebacker cores. Like there was
where
those,
you had
those ran the
really
teams.
like violent and aggressive linebackers that just went out there and cracked heads.
Yeah.
And it was a different era, Maybe it wasn't the best for everybody, but it was sure fun to watch.
You play football, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, through high school and college and stuff, but yeah, I my aspirations kind of went quickly when the money ran out. So
Yeah.
had to start doing something else.
That shed a different little,
Yeah.
like a little passion changes a little bit.
Yeah.
You-
Absolutely.
Like I got passion for a lot of things, but if I ain't bringing in the butter, man,
Yeah.
I mean, what are we
But I also
doing?
got passion for rent. So
Was it like a little hard growing up, a little difficult? Or were you like parents were there? You had
no,
like,
parents were there. Real
yeah.
strong family. My mom and my pops. Real unique situation. I grew up basically in a traveling show. My parents ran a big Polynesian dance troupe. My brother still runs it to this day.
Wow.
With all his sons and daughters working for it. I very much sympathize with them. But so yeah, I kind of grew up doing that from basically was performing full time from probably when I was 5 years old up until my early 20s when I started transitioning into wrestling.
Yeah, so you was like already had the performer blood in you, man.
Just a lot of time on stage, man. Just like we did a high volume of shows, and we had some regular gigs during the week where we do 2 or 3 shows a night, and then on the weekends we probably have 2 or 3 more shows. A lot of international tours, and this is all kind of before I really was like 16 or 17. So it was cool though, man. My folks were like they had a good way of like they didn't believe in other people raising their kids, so they just put us to work and kept us around them all the time. So I guess it worked out.
I kind of missed that a little bit. Like kids were active.
Yeah,
you had to be in something.
Yeah,
now a lot of technology is raising children.
Yeah.
Today in the media.
Absolutely.
We were the media. You had to create your media.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's weird with my sons because at their age now, man, I already had like 2-3 jobs. I was already making my. I think I filed taxes at like 16 or 14 or something like that. It was wild. So
I went through it, so you don't have to go through it.
Yeah. But at the same time, but y'all should really get a job. No.
My feelings wouldn't be too hurt.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel failed as a parent if
Yeah.
you were just working a little bit.
Especially sometimes they sit too comfortable on the furniture. It just bugged me. Oh, thanks, Dad. This is
Yeah.
that's a job, man. Too comfortable on the furniture.
You got about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Why is your leg draped over the arm like that? That's gross.
Yeah.
Close your legs. Sit upright.
It's like
My couch.
one false little thing of etiquette. You'll throw a parent. Ooh, he's like, hold up. I got a question. Hold up. I got a question of the ethics that we've been going through over here.
My son hit me with the. Can you make these these chicken nuggets crispier, Dad?
Ooh.
He said.
What?
I grew up on soggy
I was like, bro, you
nuggets,
better
son.
eat what I give you, bro.
Yeah. You know about those Tyson chicken blues? And sometimes she even take them out the freezer and take them apart. She just left them stuck together. It was real gross in between there, son. At least I pulled them apart for you.
There's still icicles in this mug.
We come from the days,
It's still crispy.
I'm telling you, though, we come from the days where, if you did not eat what was on the table, you was not eating, bro. So you was not eating.
The dead stare. Hey, can I get this reheated?
Bro, I hated. I couldn't. What was a meal you couldn't stand getting as a kid? I hated. Every time, for some reason, for me, it was the fillet of fish, the same nugget thing, but it was fish.
So
I hated it.
I was my mom, she was a great cook, so it wasn't bad. But my pops, sometimes
It's always the dad.
Sometimes he'd be tasked with making us like lunch or something.
Yeah.
And we just knew, like, oh no. And I love my dad, and rest his soul. He's a great man. But yeah, man, he had a habit of making tuna fish sandwich. All right, that's fine, tuna fish sandwich. Okay, we deal with that. But he wouldn't drain the tuna, man. He just it'd be like a soup, and he put on Wonder Bread, and then he'd like serve it to you, and he said, "You gonna eat it?" And you'd be like. And it was just rough, man. It was a tuna soup sandwich, and it was so bad. It was so bad.
Sandwich.
And and then if you didn't eat it, he'd be like, "Oh, wait, you like our food? You don't like this or that?" It just got bad.
Lord,
oh man, what's something mom like grandma's? Yo, what do you see me like pot roast, like the big ham hock?
Oh, you didn't like that?
I never ate it.
No,
I never ate that stuff.
I would tear that up.
Nah,
that was my man.
Big ham hock, just
with a knuckle on it.
Yes, and it took forever to cook.
The hard knuckle.
I don't like this. And she made like cabbage with it. I'd be like, cabbage? Oh.
It is good. The problem is your first. It is good. The problem is your first exposure is usually your uncle, and he just like murdering the knuckle or so, just like it's cracking, and you're just like. That
has been experiencing seeing somebody else eat it.
Yeah.
Has turned me off of ever wanting it. Like that's happened to me before.
Well, you got to get the meat off the bone, grandson. And you got, I don't put all this work.
Yeah.
Cabbage soggy. Love you, grandma.
Yeah.
But
Cabbage
soggy. I just couldn't do it, dog. I would, and it would be like every Thursday, right before school night too, like right before Friday on a good day. I'd be like,
just hungry going into your quiz, you know. Didn't need anything.
Like no brain food, bro. It's all arthritis food.
I never ate it, man. I'm like, I'm making PB&J, bro.
What was your first exposure to pro wrestling?
A lot of it was just, I think, Saturday morning wrestling and stuff. Because we would have practice on Saturdays, which with the group, but then it would be over in the morning. And then right then, that would be the only time I could watch TV was after practice was done. And I think wrestling would be coming right on Superstars or Saturday. I think it was Saturday morning was the other one. Switched out a couple times, but it was so yeah, that was like the first exposure. And then like my pops actually knew several wrestlers just through show business, and he worked at the airline LAX, so he kind of was like a travel expert to a lot of the like Samoan cats who would come into LA and stuff. So yeah, I mean, he loved it. I loved it. It was one of the few things that we enjoyed together, that we could watch together on TV. So I mean, that was kind of my first real exposure to it was just kind of Saturday mornings watching with my pop.
Oh, okay. Who are you like you say he had a relationship with a lot of the wrestlers and stuff. Who would you say like someone that you like really gravitated to personally, and like it's like not watching on TV, but like you was like, okay, this person like is here in front of me, like I interact with them and stuff, you know.
So all his buddies were mostly indie guys,
but
mostly indie Samoan guys around the Southern California area. But I remember when he was in Hawaii, like. He worked at a gym where Lord James Blear worked, and a lot of the guys would come in and work out, and you know he'd be a trainer there and stuff when he was younger. So that was kind of his main connection was in Hawaii. But me growing up and kind of watching guys, I mean, I was always a big Arn Anderson fan. I've always said that. I just liked the way Arn carried himself, and you know it was kind of the enforcer, and he was always the muscle guy, and you know. Great move set, really crisp and clean when he snapped through things. Yeah. So I think that was kind of the first guy I really dug, and then I mean there was several after that. Yeah.
I feel like you take a lot from him, just like you said, like he just had the presence before he even get in the ring, before he does anything, gets physical. He just carried himself a certain way, and that's like for me, like that's a Samoa Joe just stamp mantra for like years. Like,
yeah, I think it's important. I think like presence and poise and posture and how you project yourself obviously is huge in what we do. But when you look at the best, I mean like I was fortunate enough when I started my career. I started in 01 and working with Shinya Hashimoto and just watching him out on these small house shows in the Japanese countryside and just seeing how he'd captivate these people and just presence and. Seeing a guy who was very, very jovial, sweet, like awesome dude, behind the scenes just turned into this like world destroyer whenever he got in the ring. So watching that transformation definitely helped me realize like how incredibly important just poise, posture, and how you portray yourself is in the public light.
That's like one of the biggest arts. I think that it's something you can't teach. You just it's a light bulb that goes off, or you don't get it at all. It's just like the fact of like timing on those things, and just like truly like understanding the perspective of what you're giving off. Is what I've started realizing and learning is like the like it's not about my perspective, it's about the person's perspective, how they're going to see this. And I kind of got to put myself in their shoes, in their position. Like, what would fear me? What would I fear? What would like intimidate me if I was sitting there watching my person go out or seeing them on the screen and stuff? Because now what we're doing, like with AEW, like in Japan it's a little different because it's a lot of just live, like live to the audience. AEW, we have cameras and like promoing and like social media and road twos and all this other stuff. There's so many different ways to portray yourself and project it to the audience. And I think that's something that's like really tough to teach. That's probably the hardest thing to teach in this in the game today. Would you say so?
I'd agree with that. But I mean, but I think that kind of goes with a lot of time to talk about the intangible things about certain people, and a lot of it. And I think I say the biggest thing when it comes to portraying yourself in a certain way is that you just gotta believe it. You gotta really have a deeply held belief that what you're portraying is authentic, and what how you feel and what you're emoting is those things too, and it should feel comfortable, and you should be able to kind of slip into it. At least for me, everybody kind of has their own process. And
what is something that you might have learned from back then, like your early beginnings, that you even take, like maybe something a trainer taught you, or something that you've learned even from your own experience that you take now in your career as you are now OG in the game? What is something you've learned from back then that sticks with you?
I think the biggest thing is, understanding that time moves differently to the audience than it does to you.
Very true.
In the ring, and I think it's something that some people have a hard time with because, in your mind when you're out there, your senses are heightened and you're amped up and you're feeling your blood's pumping, you're feeling the charge from the crowd, you're already getting into it, and you're going, and what is lightning fast almost seems slow at times. It's unusual, and it's just learning that that tracks differently to the observer who's watching it and is not in a heightened state of alertness, is just in a heightened state of just observing what you're doing. So just little things like that, understanding, reading your crowd, kind of feeling where they're at certain points, and knowing when to put on the gas, when to pull back a little bit. I mean, these are all kind of things that those repetitions kind of help with. And, the more opportunities you get to be in front of those types of crowds where you can gauge that kind of response, usually the better off you end up being.
Who's an artist that you can like kind of relate to that same type of psychology? They just like, they had timing and like, they just had a presence on stage, even in like on this and hearing their music. They just had a presence in their voice.
That is like that they just kind of have it like in that.
Yeah.
And it's a great question. I would say if the first person that comes to mind to me, it would be like Dr. Dre was always great with that. I think Dre was always great with timing. And even though, you hear stuff about music never coming out with him, but when he was putting out music, everything was always a timing thing. Whether it was NWA, his own stuff, everything was always a perfect timing. Snoop was great with that too. They always Snoop was more active, but they just have it on the new side, and I will finally give it up because I just never watched it, but Tyler has that.
Yep,
it's perfect with Tyler. Tyler, the creator, has that perfect. Like when he always drops and always comes out, it's very calculated. You could tell the details are very important with him.
Yeah, yeah,
very detailed.
I take a lot from him in that sense too.
Now that I'm paying attention, you had me paying attention.
Yeah,
I see what it motivates you. I see it.
Yeah,
I see what it is.
For me, like I'll go old school with it. I feel like every time Big Pun hopped on something, I feel like the whole rest of the track moved out of the way for him to just boom, here he is, like that. Like on a feature on his own songs, like it just he just had like the voice control and then the power behind that, which is really hard to do.
Yeah.
To like just come in hard and then like still flow effortlessly.
Yeah.
Music wise, that was like the guy.
I think like honestly one of the best live hip hop performances I think I've ever seen in my life was Busta Rhymes.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say that.
And
Prime
like,
Buster is what he's talking about too.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, but I'm gonna say Busta. I don't know, probably, we like
Still to this day.
Like when you
holds
talk
it
about a guy who gets in front of a crowd and has a tight killer stage act that is polished and practiced, and hits and everything spot on, sharp.
Super.
Like which is something I appreciate, man. I feel like a lot of hip hop acts in the past, they had real sharp acts where they come through, and as time's gone on, and they're just kind of singing over the track, playing in the background, and crowd work. It's kind of alleviated a bit. But Busta, man, I've seen some performances live where I've just been like, this is out of this. I mean, just everything, hitting everything, every note, everybody coming in, the improvs, everything just perfect, and
him and Spiff Star have one of the greatest live shows.
Yeah.
And they fill each other so well.
Yeah.
Back
Godly.
to back to. You don't like some people. You don't realize how much they got in the tank until you see them live.
Yeah.
Like this dude got about 40 of them.
Like he gets through four songs. You're like, why are you not passed out?
Dude,
I'm tired. I've been
heavy
listening.
jewelry
Yeah.
and big jackets.
Big jackets.
I'm like, yo, we dress a little lighter nowadays, but they still heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy
All
down.
You still got puffy jackets. I've seen them, bro.
And all 5 songs is like every song
Dog,
is
that's
just
like
dude, you don't stop, bro.
then this like the power in those guys, man, is just different. Like, but those guys, they came up in an era they had to perform
to make money.
Yeah.
You're like performing was the art.
Different hustle, different focus on different things.
Yeah, so that they had to work on a different skill than kind of the artists today.
Yeah, I'm not like a hater. Like I'm just saying I like it. I'm not saying if you don't do it, you trash. I'm just saying
different.
I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I enjoy things. You can enjoy things. Man, let's talk about the Ring of Honor era, the golden era of this Ring of Honor, like where it is y'all everybody that you were like on the roster with was just all were killers. You Aries, low key, Kenta coming over, man, like the stiff competition with Bryan Danielson, Claudio, all those guys. Like, what was motivating that locker room to just create a whole new era, a whole new style, a breed of wrestling that a lot of is very mainstream now. The underground is now the mainstream.
I mean, well, the main thing I think is just there's nowhere else to work. Like,
Yo, things change when you get hungry, bro.
Yeah, I love to really
man.
romanticize it and be like, well, we came together and we just said, guys, we're gonna change the world. Nah, we're like, hey, they paying, right? All right, cool.
But you ain't got to hit that hard,
Like,
bro.
yeah, wow. But no, and honestly, I think for
shout out Christopher Daniels. As well.
shout out Christopher Daniels. Hey, listen, Christopher Daniels.
Yes.
Let me tell you. I learned to make money in independent wrestling. I just followed the Christopher Daniels money trail. I told him that. I looked at every promoter that fly him in. I realized, well, they fly him in. I can get him to fly me in. Now that's not how I started out. It said, well, these are the promoters that pay for a flight. That's what I knew. All right, they'll pay for a flight, but yeah, man, that because he was one of the few guys at the time. I mean, that's how it was back then. I mean, like Chris Daniels, when I started out, was one of the few guys in the country who was being consistently flown out of state.
Yeah,
which was like, what? Flown out of state to work for independent places.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was like, for unless you got picked up by WWE, WCW was waiting on its way out and it actually closed pretty much like my first year in, and ECW was
in flux.
battle. It was in flux, and they were in so much financial trouble. They were on kind of a hiring freeze too, and there just weren't a lot of places to really work and where it was kind of like a big deal and there was a little bit of buzz going on, and Ring of Honor was one of those few places. And I think really, they just
you coming from LA all the way to Philly to do those shows too.
And I think what just basically that it started with the King of Indies tournament. Gabe, I think, will say that he kind of got the idea from watching that, and then he realized, oh, there's enough kind of cool indie guys that we can put together a promotion in the Northeast. Obviously, Northeast was still hungry for more wrestling and stuff, and especially Philly, and you know, just that's kind of how it all came together. And like I said, you know, these were the same guys I was seeing booked everywhere, anyways. You know, I was seeing Brian everywhere, I was seeing Low Key everywhere, I was seeing AJ everywhere. So it was like we all kind of knew each other going in because we were all getting booked, you know, nationally. So it's like, you know, when Ring of Honor came together, it was like, oh, cool. It was like we finally have kind of a consistent place. We're all kind of in the same place together.
It was like a time period like this. You don't see like that many of hybrid style talents like come together at one time.
Well, and I think a lot of it too was guys were really trying to make a bid for Japan, which was still a really viable,
Right.
That was
like,
a consistent
career option at the time. And it kind of, you know, I guess it is, but you know, it got worse during that time too. There was a slump in business over there around that same period of time, and you know, just Ring of Honor was a great place for you to kind of like really build your repertoire, build your resume, you know, get some good matches, and you know, the shows did well and it paid decent. It was a cool thing, and like all the guys were hungry and like wanted to put on like an awesome show. You know, it was a consensus in the locker room. Hey, let's go out there and have a great show. Like let's blow this thing out and have a blast. And
When,
you know,
when did you feel like it got to a point where this can be a consistent thing? Like instead of like just spot shows here every once in a while, like this could be like
kind of when it did. It's
the
like
homegrown,
because like we were
yeah.
just there and it just kind of just kept evolving. And they kept adding more shows, and it happened pretty fast. It happened pretty quickly. You know, like where you
around
know
what year you think?
02, 01, 02. I mean, don't. There's some guy who right now is watching this. I'll tell you exactly. Well, you know, like,
Tape right here.
you know,
Goddamn it.
bam.
I look at everything towards the music. I'm like, well, get Richard not trying.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, it's like. Yeah, that whole time was such a whirlwind. I couldn't even tell you what years when they started and when they stopped. And I mean, that's
true.
With a relatively sober head, you know. Like,
Right.
Oh man, but it was just so cool because like for me, like those were the tapes I was like I was being introduced to, like, and I was like I started in 07, 08 really, and I was getting the 02, 03 tapes to learn from, but it was like, man, I'm not seeing this anywhere else. Why was I not seeing this style of these like athletes on television on a weekly basis? That was like really like that was mind blowing to me. And I think that made it so much more special because it wasn't given out.
yeah, it was. Well, and that was kind of the thing was, you know, ROH did a really great job of like really monetizing their fan base and like, you know, understanding. It's kind of like mixtapes. You know what I mean? It's a lot like mixtapes actually. You know, where it's just, you know, you may not do 2 million records. You may do 200,000, but you do 200,000 at 100% profit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of you know. The ROH model was very much a mixtape type of model in that sense, where it's like we may do fewer units, but you know we're gonna
You get to pocket all that
because they're doing everything in house. So it's like it was. That's why that was the base of the success. Really, was just it was lean and clean at the time for especially for the size venues we were doing and the size of the fan base that we had.
So now, I always transfer it to music. So now that you're like, let's say you're like an executive now, you've been doing this a long time, and it's also like finding new talent as well. For when it comes to you now or the stage you're in, you've been a veteran, you've been doing it a long time. If you could look back to yourself, 01, 02, what advice would you give yourself back then? If you could just have a conversation with, like, what would you say?
I probably would have embraced social media and YouTube and stuff a little bit more and a little differently, like had an approach and a plan worked out. I think that's what everybody would say, really. I mean, I don't think it's. I don't think it's some. You know, I think if you say, man, if I could start back and then I'd be the guy they talking about. You know,
Right.
Jake Paul. I might use see my YouTube channel.
Right.
I'll be bungee jumping too.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Doing all the pranks before they do all the challenges.
Yeah.
You be out there a day before the ice bucket. Hey, ice bucket challenge. Bah. You know?
Dude, yo, that's funny as hell, bro. That's hilarious.
But I mean, I think that as far as from like a wrestling standpoint and a content standpoint, like understanding where content was gonna go, I think if you knew what was up a couple of years ahead of time, man, you could position things to make a ton of money and do really well.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Oh, so the legacy has already been set. Now we're seeing like the lineage of the Ring of Honor on TV now. And we're still trying to move forward to get that on its own television product, on its own programming and stuff. Currently, ROH TV champion and stuff. Like, do you feel like in today's age, legacies are respected as much by the media, and like social platforms and fan bases? Because I think a lot of people take for granted like everything that has come with building a Ring of Honor and building the talent that they see today and the styles that we talk about. That's just like you see it every week now on WWE. You see it on AEW. You can see it on Impact. You know, you see that style. Do you think like the legacy is respected as much?
I mean, yeah. Yes, because it's like, and I've said this before. I think Ring of Honor has its fingerprints all over the industry, especially the top of the industry and stuff. And I think it does garner the respect it deserves because it's kind of an undeniable respect. I mean, you look at the guys who are probably at the top of this industry. A lot of them probably passed through ROH. So I mean, that in and of itself is kind of telling. And as far as like legacy and do I feel legacies are respected as much or whatever? I mean, that's in the hands of the fan. Like, let's just leave it there. Let's not worry about it. If a fan thinks you legendary, then awesome. If he don't, then cool. Like, it shouldn't be reprimanded because he thinks a certain way. I mean, that should be a genuine. That should be something genuine that somebody feels about you. It shouldn't be something that's just kind of pontificated to them. This man is a legend. Like,
Right.
what are you talking about? I just met him. I don't know. Legendary to me.
Throw them roses down before his feet as he walks in.
Yeah.
Like,
Nah.
Do you feel like that? And the reason why that I bring that question up sometimes to people when I think about it is because it seems like in wrestling, like when you're done, it's kind of like that's when you really get your roses in a way, the autographs. And you guys get them now too, because you guys do it now too. So you guys get it while you're doing it, and kind of when it ends, you guys obviously can do signings when you want to do them. It's like it seems like in music or other forms of entertainment, depends on what you do. The threshold is kind of lower or higher, depending on what career choice you take. Because it seems like in music sometimes some people get it, and like you said, some people don't. And even in the form of films, actors, actresses, or great athletes. Some great athletes have great numbers. Numbers are great, but it's just something that sometimes they're overlooked. And then somebody who might not have the numbers, but they might have more Super Bowl rings.
Hell, I just did it. I made fun of Matt Ryan.
He's great.
I'm like, man,
You're a little rough on Matt. You're being a little rough on Matt.
I was a little rough on him, but he's like a top 15 quarterback of all time.
Technically, if you go by the numbers, Shady McCoy has a Hall of Fame argument.
If you go, yeah.
If you go by numbers, but is the impact the same as Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders? No, but he had a 13-year career and had a lot of 1,000-yard seasons and touchdowns.
Like, we make fun of Le'Veon Bell boxing, but like, dude, that was like a all-time running back Steelers career.
Right.
Yeah.
So
like, that's why I always like play with I always just pay attention to those kind of things of like, do we respect legacies as much as as we should? Do we give the flowers when they're when they're gone?
I think legacy can be kind of a curse. Where
talk about it.
Well, I mean, because you have to support a legacy. Legacies don't just kind of stand on their own. You know what I mean? So, I mean, really, it needs support, and like it's tough, man. Especially if you're still living.
Yes.
And active.
Yeah, and active
in it too.
This guy can still mess up. We sure we're giving him talking about legacy or whatever.
Like, yo,
yeah.
like a Ben Roethlisberger is like, no, he's like one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like my thing is like, I think you should strive to be good at what you do and produce good works and things that you feel you enjoy and that your audience will enjoy, and really worry less about whether people revere what you've done.
Okay.
I think you get too caught up in that, and then you start getting like real sensitive and about and which is fine, but at the same time, it's like you lose a lot of that artistic connection. You lose a lot of your ability for your work to be seen and interpreted and heard in maybe ways you may not like, but it may be fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Maybe that may be the way that it's like, oh shit, it just hits it may hit different than what you think.
Right.
So I don't know. I think when you worry about legacy and stuff, you're really limiting the artistic ability of the things that you put out in the world.
Teach me. I need to hear this.
I battle
it.
I get petty.
No, and I understand because it's especially in creative endeavors. I mean, that's your heart, that's your life, that's your work, that's stuff that's you're passionate about that comes from your inside. You want people to fuck with it and love it as much as you love it. But if they don't love it, you're torturing yourself trying to worry about how somebody feels about some shit that you can never affect how they feel about it.
Right.
That's how they feel about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you're suffering, making yourself suffer over that, there's a lot of suffering in this world. You don't need to add any of your own personal suffering on top of it.
Never lied.
What about the inverse of that?
Yeah.
Them trying to make you suffer for how they feel about, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's where when they throw the mirror on you, it's like, no, you're wrong. The performer is wrong because you should be like, honestly respecting their opinion on it because they're the consumer.
No,
and
absolutely.
The entitlement
And I think there needs to be a meeting. There needs to be a meeting of the two that somewhere in
that's
between.
a lot of people.
A lot of people in that transaction.
Yeah, that's a lot of numbers. I don't think there's a boardroom big enough for this, bro.
Shows that friend you call, you start talking to him, he'll listen to you for 10 minutes. He's like, man, shut your ass.
Shut your ass. I got the numbers. I got the stats. I got everything laid out.
So said this.
I always tell people it's called show business. Like it's not show business. Everybody love the show, but boy, you better get your business right. Otherwise, you will not be showing much to anybody anytime soon.
I'm on the other side of that. I'm like, yo, how about you show me?
Yeah. Show me some business.
I've been doing this for a while. I think I figured it out pretty well, but apparently I'm doing it all wrong. but judging on like, oh, this. I'm like, okay, you do it.
Yeah.
Show me.
Is there anything that, and this is digging a little deeper, this is as far as character work, is there anything that maybe in your career that, because you obviously have gotten over that part you're like, whatever. But is there anything that you do struggle with, maybe to this day, that you might have to sit back and make you think, like, you know what? This is something that will make you think like that, or make you maybe not overreact, but say, you know what, damn, I need to still work on this part of it.
Nothing really overarching, but like sometimes I'll see just some stupid shit, like sometimes. Not like oh, you suck or blah blah blah, or that. No, whatever. No, but like somebody just like totally just like, yeah, and then this and this, like talking about some shit, like some shit happened, like some fake timeline they've made up in their head about when I was here and when this happened and when that happened. And I was like, what the fuck? And I want to say some shit, but I'm like, why do you even care whether this cat's timetable's right? He just made this shit up. He just trying to talk some shit. He's just making up facts to talk some shit. Just let the brother make up some shit. You check him on it.
That's fun. Like that reminds me of like the new meme now with the LeBron lying.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
I'm like,
oh my God, I love it.
So I'm still new to it because I'm still trying to catch up on the whole thing. But I'm like, okay, even if say it is true, or actually say some of his stuff is like just like astronomically way out of like the picture of like, no, there's no way that's real. It's LeBron. It could be real.
Yeah.
It could be real. But like it's other people talking about this man's career.
Guys, first off, LeBron is the skipper of the greatest basketball franchise in the history of the NBA, the Los Angeles Lakers. Really appreciate y'all. Speak a little bit more respectfully about the cap. You know what I mean? He can't help it. Having a rough year.
Rough. A Russ year.
You know when LeBron 2-8 and he don't care. He done.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna say some bullshit. Let's see how it travels.
We ain't got no shooters. I'm getting my 25.
Yeah.
I mean, at that stage of his career, I'm gonna say some lies and see how it travels and see if y'all catch up to it. I'm gonna see what happens.
Yeah, man. I was in the studio when Pastor Cavassier came out.
I was there.
I was there. I was there. I was about 7, but I tell you, it was.
I was the first.
You know that part where like in the middle roll? That's me.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I grabbed Pharrell's mouth. I was like, shut up real quick.
Yeah, you know the the pager in freaking Bow Wow Sierra video. Yeah, I gave him the pager. For that. You know, it's 2-way. You know.
Okay.
I told him to write the message on Excel spreadsheet on the phone. That was me. Like,
Hey, if I'm a billionaire freaking basketball player, I'm gonna say some lies and see if y'all catch up. Just because I'm bored.
Like, I was at St. Vincent, St. Mary's, and everybody was spinning
Towels.
spinning their shirts.
Yeah.
And then I was sitting next to P.D. Pablo.
Yeah.
And I was
Matter
like,
of fact, his name was just Joseph Pablo. I said, yo, you know it's a great name, Petey, bro.
man, they're spinning their shirt like a helicopter.
Yeah.
You know what?
Next thing you know,
And then I was like, hey, dog, where you from again? Hey, hold on real quick. Where you from?
Wake Forest. Yeah. Like, wait a minute.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was there at them college parties. Wait, hold up. Dog, there's so much fun to be had with this stuff. But man, like AEW is coming up on Full Gear
Yep.
this week. You did some dirty things.
I did.
this
I
past
did.
week,
I
man.
did, didn't I? But did I really? I mean, did I really do something that
I'm
dirty?
in the same boat with you, bro.
I
Why
understand,
are they questioning our ethics,
Why is it
man?
when somebody comes around talks real reckless,
Real reckless.
and
man.
I believe him? See, that's the problem. I believe people. See,
do
other
too.
people don't believe people. Some people get in people's face and say, "Oh, I'm gonna whip your ass. I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna kill you. Oh, you suck. I'm gonna do." And see, you say it to other people, they don't believe you. They don't do nothing because they just look at you like, "Oh, I guess okay, you
But
must
then
not be
you're
real."
the villain.
Yeah, because I'm taking things for face value.
Right.
You know,
Bro, they rap to me.
yeah, they rap to you.
rapped.
It's disrespect. And then you come here and say,
We
I want to
understand.
take all the belts. I mean, I knew where we were going. We just got there a little quicker. I'm sorry, I accelerated the schedule.
You said it.
We misunderstood people, man.
Misunderstood.
And in Jersey at Full Gear,
Yeah.
we gonna make y'all
I
understand.
sometimes I wish the refs had body cams so we could just see from my point of view what's really happening out there. Because it's
Like,
real different. You should have heard the shit under his breath he was saying over his shoulder.
They don't know what happens off camera.
No, they don't.
It could have been brewing for like weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like his neck was looking real delicious, so we had to just go up and
delicious.
you know.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to shut it down, you know.
I respect it, man.
He had bad thoughts, so, you know, he didn't need to think no more. I mean, that's how that works. Right?
Let me cut off the blood of that
Yeah.
thinking process.
Yeah, you had evil thoughts. So I was just trying to save you from them.
So I want to ask you this question, right? So in wrestling, the Dream Tag Team scene, a lot of people love seeing Swerve and Keith Lee together, you and Wardlow at the time. But I want to ask you this. I'm going to make you think. Hopefully you don't have the answer to this, even though you're a hip-hop head, so you probably already do. Give me your 3 hip-hop albums, right? Because, you know, Drake and 21 Savage just dropped a project. Give me your 3 collab projects. They're not a group, but 2 artists that can come together and make an album. 3 different collaborations. They're not a group, though. Like, Drake and 21 is not a group. They just came together. Give me 3 different units.
Okay, Meth and Red.
Okay.
Right? Not a group.
Technically not, but they became one. They count, though.
But
They're not a group.
they weren't at first.
They weren't at first. They weren't at first.
Rottweilers?
They were just friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever say Drake and Future? I mean,
Oh no, he said Drake and
21 Savage. They
Yeah.
dropped the album last week, so
Yeah.
Drake and
Drake and
Future, they have
Future's-
one
yeah.
album. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
yeah,
it was hot.
yeah. Who
I
else?
I'll take one song from that album.
mean, Webby and Boozy. Back in the
Yeah,
day.
Hey,
they count.
Wayne and Birdman.
Wayne and Birdman.
Yeah, they ain't a group, right?
Yeah.
Technically, they're not a group.
You know what? You know what?
Yeah.
Nobody gonna say it. I'm gonna put it out there, man. Like,
Yo, show some respect to Chris Brown and Tyga. They drop some heaters every summer, yo.
Okay.
You mean Chris? You mean Chris dropped the Eaters and Tiger just put his verse in there?
Yeah.
however you want to discuss, however you want to wave it.
Yeah.
They dropped
I need
some
a
heaters in
chorus.
The song was fire.
Yo, shout out Shad Moss and Omarion dropping their little collab album.
That ran the whole summer when they came.
Did it not? I'm just talking about summer hits. These are not all time.
Bow Wow and Omarion ran that whole summer, bro. Those are the days, bro.
I can't wait for Shad Moss and Jay Cargo to drop their collab album soon.
This is gonna be really, really good. I heard.
Will it be?
Yo, I'm sure.
So who's
We got the best producers on it.
oh shit. Yeah. So is there anybody in wrestling like that for you? Like anybody like a homie?
Two people that just come together and it's just fire.
I mean,
Somebody that you like.
somebody that I like. I mean, no. Not like that.
Why you shrink the list like that?
Yeah. Well, guess that question is going nowhere.
Man, I'm trying trying to think of like in wrestling, I like seeing together.
Man.
When they come together?
Steen and Generico.
Yeah, they're always fun.
They
They're
were
always
always
fun.
fire.
They're always fun.
Always fire. That's like right off the top for me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've just seen these cats, like, I've seen too many of these guys wrestle each other, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, he all right.
Yeah.
You know, he cool.
I've already seen all these play out to the logical end.
Right.
So what are we really talking?
Yeah.
What are we really going? Man, like, are you cinema guy? Movies, going to movies, study movies much?
Yeah, I mean, I dig films. I mean, I haven't been to the movies in like a year, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
I just checked out that Wakanda Forever.
What'd you think? Hot take. Guess who's not coming to the barbecue? This cat over here.
They told a great story. Just to me, like
This is where you fuck it up.
This is where I'm
Yo, I will say, like, it was a good film. It wasn't as good as Black
Everybody's
Panther.
going to click the teeth at you.
Oh, yeah. The last three, I'm on a roll. The last 2 podcasts, I've been getting like a lot of Fightful Select like news out of them. So this might be another one, guys. Yep. And nobody else is talking, so it's just me. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It just wasn't better than Black Panther for many reasons.
I mean,
it didn't have the impactful punch that I wanted because we're in like phase 4. We've seen so many
but
Marvel movies.
To be fair, Black Panther was like a great first. I mean,
it was excellent to me.
like, I mean, it's hard.
It's
Like,
very hard.
yeah, it's hard to beat.
I will not. It will not. I'm not like gonna like punish it for like. Of course, it went through rewrites. It had a whole big just missing part of the movie that they had to like work around, and I thought they did that well. But it just still just didn't pack the punch that it needed to for me. But it was still a solid film.
What'd you think?
I kind of feel that way, kind of like how you feel about tag team partners.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I saw it. My son's like, and I'm sitting here just like, I'm like, is it over? Are we done?
Yeah, when you hit
we
that
done?
easy rest.
Are we done?
No, that's great.
I did.
great, good.
I saw 96% of it. And you know, I felt like it was just, it could have waited. You know,
You know what? I wouldn't be mad if they did like wait another year.
give it a little minute. You know what I mean?
It did feel kind of like production rush. Like we got to get
give
this
it a
out.
second. Like, let it.
These
like,
contracts
please.
about to be up. We got to go.
Yeah, we gotta get this in line with
I
before
know-
Quantumania.
I know you missed the man, and I miss him too. Shout out Chad. God bless.
Man, it was grieving in that.
But
movie,
it
though.
felt like that's what he was sick. Well, he really was sick. Well, damn. Like we we getting there. Okay,
Yeah.
we doing this.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole movie was based on. Like Angela Bassett did a great job when she
killed
usually
it.
does. And it just one critique I will say. Now that I'm getting into my movie thing, thanks to these guys, because I'll be out the conversation. I need to get involved, so I'm
Yeah,
watching.
you
now.
be the guy now this time.
I will say that the plot was all like the stories was all over the place. Like 1 second, I forgot the chick's name, the scientist.
Shiri?
She had her. She was in the one part, and the next thing you know, they cutting over to the villain, and then they're cutting over here and there. It's like not a lot of character development. I wish they, even though the movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes, I wish they took a little bit more time in the developing like these characters. And M'Baku was weak. That's my boy. He was weak.
Beat up the Black Panther.
Beat up the Black Panther. Now you see the little Avatar dude come out the water. He don't know what to damn do. And he weak as hell, getting his ass whipped. And I'm just like, you know what? My son, he was like, he's weak in this movie. I said, yes, he is. But he's trash.
Don't
Look at my
select
boy.
him.
Yeah, family burial. Daddy, he's weak. I
Weak.
know.
My one dude I liked. And
Learn from this, son.
then they had to find a way to get Michael B. Jordan in the movie. Had to find a way to get him in.
No, I was okay with that. That was my favorite part of the movie to me.
You know, we don't need Kevin Hart in Marvel movies, but I'll shut up.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah.
Oh, it's coming.
Huh? You seen it yet? You haven't seen it?
No, he ain't seen it. I was kind of avoiding that because of him, but
Oh,
yeah, everybody, he's back.
He's in it.
Kinda, I guess.
As Creed, that'd be dope.
He was cut up like Creed. You can tell he just got done shooting Creed the other day because he was cut.
They were in the same studio lot. He's like, I might as well just walk
Come on and put these fake dreads on real quick. Go ahead and do your part.
We don't got the script. I don't need it. I got it. What we doing? What we doing? I found out that you just did some, did your acting chops, dipped into the acting scenes a little bit.
Okay, let's talk about
how much NDA
that you can't say.
No, yeah, no, Twisted Metal for Peacock.
Shit!
That's what I was going to ask. Where can we find this, man? When's it coming out?
Coming out, I can't say.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think I would get in trouble for that.
Yeah, that's why I'm like very careful.
I'm pretty sure. Man, I almost got big. I almost got real loose. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, he did too.
Hit you up in post text.
But
Chris Evans in it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There's your tweet.
What can you give us?
But yeah, I mean it stars Anthony Mackie, Stephanie Beatrix, Thomas Hayden Church.
You on, bro.
My guy Mike Mitchell, the homie, good, hilarious dude. Taj Vaughn, another cool cat. Anyways, Twisted Metal, like the PlayStation game of old.
Yes, sir.
A lot of crazy car mayhem. I play Sweet Tooth.
One of the
Needles Kane, the infamous one. So
I can't wait. I heard about that rumor and I was like, I can't wait.
Get to do some pretty cool stuff, and hopefully, I don't know, in the coming months, y'all find out more about it.
Yes, sir.
I think I did good.
That was good. That was good.
I think I stayed NBA well.
I'll be remiss too because this is my brother, this is my guy, and I know y'all tight. And Swerve was just on his podcast, and I was on his podcast, so I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up DNA. That's my brother. I know that's your man.
Great.
You guys he always shouts you out every time I talk to him. And tell me a little bit about that relationship real quick. How you got into the battle rap?
Battle rap's a lot of fun. Great time to watch, especially on the road. And you're in between flights, and there's quick clips. Like I used to watch Smack and URL stuff. Just tune in real quick and check it out. And watching DNA and stuff. And then I think I made a tweet like making light of a Don DeMarco the Don DeMarco hit. Just I said something like that, and then DNA hit me. Oh, you like battle rap? I was like, yeah. I started chatting a little bit about it, talking about stuff, and then man, dude. Anytime I'm rolling through New York or whatever, try to have dude out and all his boys and shit. And I mean, it's cool, man. It's just stuff I enjoy.
Oh, so
man.
you met Warren?
Yeah.
Okay. King. I appreciate you, King.
Just to let you know, he's proud of you.
Yeah.
He's very proud of you. He's very proud of you.
Brother come with mad love and respect. I give him
Shout out to Warren, baby. All
Heart
jokes.
of gold.
All jokes, baby. So give me a quick top three. Who you like?
I think I told him obviously I dig DNA. I like Charlie Clips, like his delivery and stuff. Is pretty
amazing.
Cool cat. Mook's always wild with whatever he hits and when he goes in. There are a lot of dudes, man. I like I said, I started out kind of old Smack URL. I know there's a lot of new cats and stuff, and occasionally
he's watching when they was in the street. And all
yeah,
that.
Yeah,
me too, bro. Yeah. That's what I said. They was out in the street yelling at each other.
Shout out to Homicide. I remember some of the first Smack DVDs I got. He pulled off the Philly Streets, gave to me.
Wow.
So it was way back in the day.
Brother.
Yeah,
that's what's up, man. I'll be talking to a lot of people about it, and then when I found out you was a fan, I was like, it helps me creatively, musically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that was some creative stuff to say. I like that.
Like, all right, cool.
I like that. And also too, one thing that's also I wanted to know as a fan as well is like, if what was your first reaction when you saw yourself in a video game for the first time? Because that is something that one of the fans. I took a question from the fans.
I spent a gang of money because it was a Japanese game, so I had to get the game. I had to get the import PlayStation so I could play that shit. And then I had to figure out a dumbass way to not discreetly just all of a sudden have this Japanese wrestling game on. And Oh shit! Oh damn! Oh, you see that shit? Oh, it's this game I got in Japan. I guess I'm in it. I don't know how that works. You know, like
Everybody
my
like-
boy's like, this mother. But yeah, it was King of the Coliseum.
Yeah.
King of Coliseum. Yeah, something like
So
that.
of course you make yourself champion, right?
Oh yeah, immediately. And
Oh,
stuff.
okay, cool. Okay,
Well,
cool.
first I had to like learn how to get the translation. This is back in the day before stuff was easy to figure out. You know, like so I had to get the whole guide translation and figure out how to play the game and stuff. But yeah, shortly
figure out how
thereafter
to
we
press
were
options and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I had to get the timing system.
What's the squirrely line over here?
Yeah.
How do you fight for a championship? What's that say? Yeah. Wow, that's what's up.
Like put me in a death match. Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, I remember my brothers were over and like they always wanted to play like NBA Jam or Madden. And I remember it was like I had it on like, what are you playing, man? It was, my brother's like, turn that shit off, man. Put Madden on.
No, that's what I used to get. Cause I created like 30-something people on them wrestling games back in the day.
You used to?
Yeah. Oh my God, I went ham.
On
It
the
was
memory
absurd.
cards, bro. Take up all the space. dog.
Like, why is there a whole gig on this?
And I'm the kind of person too. I'm so damn detailed. I can't just have a basic entrance.
No.
I need like step by stage. I need fireworks at this part. Like why am I doing this?
They're like, insert a second. Yeah, you had to insert a second memory card, just get it all on there.
I'll be so upset. I'm like, the camera didn't cut when I needed it to cut. It needs to be hard cam opposite. Dang.
I was telling my son, like, you don't know the days when your memory card was corrupted. You had to leave the PS on all day because you wanted to play Tony Hawk 2 and you had to beat the level and you was not going back. They don't know about them days.
Yeah, but password.
Who turned it off?
Come on, turn to grandma, be like, I turned it off. I'm like, no!
I was just coming in vacuuming and you had that hard it just blowing. It was super hard.
I just got the 6th score and you turned it up. Man, I used to be so tight.
I was in this level of Middle Gear. I was so deep. I ain't trying to go back. I ain't trying to fight Manus again.
Oh, that's not the beginning. It's the beginning.
Damn. Well, yo, it's been great, bro. We about to wrap it up, man.
Right on.
It's been an unbelievable conversation. It's been hilarious. You know, we do what we do here in the Swerve City Podcast. We make you laugh. Hopefully you learn some little something from, Samoa Joe, the legend here, Ring of Honor, television champion. I hope you get motivated to get up and do something that you didn't think you could possibly do. Hearing our stories, hearing our mans, and listen to some music. Matter of fact, listen to Teasy's music. We got Erica's son.
Listen to his music too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Lifeline on all digital platforms right now with Anthony King. Make sure you
It's moving.
listen to the music, and I look forward to passing some stuff to Joe and have him listen to some stuff. We got some stuff cooking, and maybe he can pop in the music video someday. He's on Twisted Metal.
I will Ghost Ride a Whip. I'll let y'all know that right now. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I'm just saying.
But hey, man, he on Twisted Metal now, but that's a different bag
Ghost
there,
Road
bro.
Whips before.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. We currently watching the Cowboys.
Now y'all gotta get that thing really insured because I didn't say I was good at it. I just said I'll Ghost Ride that bitch until we hit that tree. You know what I'm saying?
Trust me, it'll be a sponsored video.
Sponsored, brother.
That ain't in my pocket.
Big Al's Collisions.
But yeah, Samoa Joe, thank you very much,
Appreciate
bro.
y'all.
Be confident in everything you do,
Hello.
everybody.
Wash your ass.
Do your homework. These Cowboys gonna lose this game.
Oh shit, they are.